Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I will demonstrate how to cut and sew an asymmetrical single sleeve monostrap blouse. Hi, my name is Ayel and welcome to 011 Clothings Tutorials. On this channel, I upload DIYs, pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. If you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now, let's get right into the tutorial. Thank you! These are all the pattern pieces needed to make the blouse. The link to the pattern drafting tutorial will be above and in the description box below. I have pinned the front pattern of the blouse to a single layer of fabric. The right side of the fabric is facing up. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern except for the side seam and the hem where I used 1 inch seam allowance. I will now cut it out. This is the back pattern piece of the blouse. I will flip over the pattern piece like this and then I will pin it to the single layer of fabric. The right side of the fabric is facing up. I will bring out the front piece that I've already cut out. I will place the front piece on top of the back piece. Right sides should be together. I will confirm that the monostrap necklines of the front and the back align with each other when the two pieces are placed right sides together. I'm doing this so as to avoid any errors because the cutting of monostrap necklines can be very tricky. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern except for the side seam and the hem where I used 1 inch seam allowance. I will cut it out. Make sure that you have confirmed that the monostrap necklines of the front and the back pieces align with each other when their right sides are together before cutting it out. This is the sleeve. I have pinned it on a single layer of fabric because we only need a single sleeve piece. The right side of the fabric is also facing up. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern except for the side seams where I used 1 inch side seam allowance. I will cut it out. This is the cuff of the sleeve. This side will be on fold. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the pattern. I will cut it out. I have pinned the front and the back neckline facings and also the front and the back armhole facings to a single layer of fabric. The right side of the fabric is facing up. I will also confirm that the monostrap necklines and the armhole curves of the front and the back blouse pieces and the facing pieces align with each other. I used half an inch seam allowance all around the patterns except for the side seam of the armhole facings where I used 1 inch seam allowance. I will now cut them out. This is the front piece. I have fused interfacing to the neckline of the front piece on the wrong side. I will fold and pin 2 pleats in place on the shoulders. I have already notched the pleat positions. I will stitch the pleats in place. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. These are the armhole and the neckline facings for the front of the blouse. I have fused interfacing to the wrong sides and I've also overlocked the raw edges of the 2 facing pieces. I will pin the facing pieces to the neckline and the armhole curve. After doing this, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. This is the back piece for the blouse. I have interfaced the neckline on the wrong side. These are the neckline and the armhole facing pieces. I have fused interfacing to the wrong sides of the two facing pieces and have also overlocked the lower part of the facing pieces. I will pin the facing pieces to the neckline and the armhole curves. After doing this, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. The stitching has been done. After sewing, I notch the seam allowance and then I understick the seam allowance to the neckline and the armhole curve of the facing pieces for both the front and the back pieces. I will now place the back piece on top of the front piece like this, right side to right side. I will open up the neckline and the facings and then I will pin the front and the back shoulders together like this. I will pin in such a way that the seam lines align with each other. After doing this, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it in place using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I will now go ahead and sew the side seams together using the French stitching technique. First of all, I will sew the side seams together, wrong sides together, using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Now the stitching has been done. I will trim the seam allowance to about 1/4 inch. I will turn the blouse to the wrong side. Then I will sew the side seams again the second time, right side to right side, using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've given the blouse a thorough press with my pressing iron. These are the sleeve pieces. First of all, I will sew the upper part of the sleeve in place to create the elastic casing for the upper part of the sleeve. I will also sew the side seams of the sleeve in place using the French stitching technique with 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Wrong sides should be together. So the first stitching has been done. I will reduce the 1/2 inch sewing allowance to about 1/4 inch. I have also sewn the upper part of the sleeve in place. I will turn the sleeve to the wrong side. Right sides are now together. I will now do the second stitching using 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've given the sleeve a thorough press with my pressing iron. I will now notch the middle of the sleeve like this. I will also notch the center of the sleeve at the back. At the back of the sleeve, I will measure and mark 2.5 inches from the hem of the sleeve. I will draw a vertical line upwards like this. I will slash this line. Remember that this line is 2.5 inches long. I will use this fabric strip to tape the edges of this new slit. The fabric strip is about 1.5 inches wide. So now that has been done, as you can see. I sewed this end diagonally and I've also gathered the hem of the sleeve. This is the cuff of the sleeve. I have fused interfacing to the wrong side of the cuff. I will now pin the cuff of the sleeve like this, right side to right side. I'll pin it to the hem of the sleeve, leaving half an inch seam allowance at both ends of the cuff. I will adjust the gathers at the hem of the sleeve so as to ensure that I have enough seam allowance at both ends of the cuff. I will make sure that the tape pin at this end is folded upwards like this, and I'll pin it in place. After pinning, I will stitch in place on my sewing machine using half an inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I will notch the middle of the cuff and I will pin the sides of the cuff in place like this. I will stitch in place on the sewing machine using half an inch sewing allowance. On this other side as well, I will notch the middle of the cuff. I will pin the sides of the cuff in place. After pinning, I will take it to my sewing machine and I will also stitch it in place using half an inch sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I will reduce the seam allowance. I will turn the cuff to the right side like this. I will fold in the half an inch seam allowance at the open end of the cuff. So as to achieve a neat finish, I will hand baste the cuff in place first. Once I'm done with the hand basting, I will stitch it in the ridge such that the stitching is not obvious on the right side of the cuff, like this. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see. I have removed the basting thread from the cuff and I've given the sleeve a thorough with my iron. I will now go ahead and insert this elastic into the elastic casing at the top of the sleeve. The length of the top edge of the sleeve is about 11 inches long. After inserting the elastic into the elastic casing, I will reduce the top edge of the sleeve to 5 inches. I will double the elastic for more durability. I will now insert the elastic into the elastic casing like this using a safety pin. I will stitch down both ends of the elastic casing after inserting the elastic. So what I have now at the upper edge of the sleeve is 5 inches. I will fix the sleeve to this side of the armhole, the incomplete armhole. I will pin the sleeve in place, making sure that the side seam lines of the blouse and the sleeve match up. Then I will stitch it in place using half an sewing allowance. So now the stitching has been done, as you can see, and I've overlocked the raw edges. I have also hemmed the lower part of the blouse. I have given the blouse a thorough press with my pressing iron. I will use a needle and thread to carefully tack the facing in place at the neckline and also the armhole. I will fix a button and a buttonhole to the cuff of the sleeve. So that's it, guys, we are done. And this is the final look of the asymmetrical monostrap single sleeve blouse. If you find this video helpful, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, share this video with your friends who are interested in sewing, and do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. See you in my next tutorial. Bye, and thank you so much for watching.